going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Thursday, December 12th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head on over to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. All right, we got a bigger card today, a much more interesting card today. Yesterday was only a 2-game schedule. Today we're back at it with 14 games, plenty of cold hard cash to be made today. Some tricky spots, but spots that we're going to talk through as a team. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game takes us to the Prudential Center, where the New Jersey Devils take on the Los Angeles Kings. And right now, the Los Angeles Kings are just not a team I'm really looking to step in front of. The Devils are playing some decent hockey, but the problem with the New Jersey Devils is that, there have been times where the goaltending can just be, wildly inconsistent. But for me right now, even though, the Kings, majority of their best work has been done at home, the goaltending is traveling, the defense is traveling wherever this team is going. And I think that the New Jersey Devils, could have a hard time putting the Kings away here. The Devils, just like the Kings, better on the Kings last year. The Devils better on the road than they are at home. The Kings better at home than they are on the road, but still even records across the board on both sides in that spot. So what I think should be a coin flip price, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Kings at plus money. Now we had this matchup between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Detroit Red Wings from the Wells Fargo Center. And normally I see the Philadelphia Flyers as a minus 150 favorite. I kind of got to give it a little bit of pause. But that being said, it makes sense to me in this spot because these two teams not necessarily playing the best hockey right now. Philadelphia coming in off of a 5-3 road win over Columbus to snap a 3-game losing streak, while Detroit just snapped a 4-game losing streak with a 6-5 win over Buffalo. The fact of the matter is, though, that was still the Buffalo Sabres that they beat, and even then, Detroit still gave up 5 goals in that game. And now they head to Detroit now they head to Philadelphia, in a game where the Red Wings have had no success going back the last decade. The last 10 years or so, the Red Wings have struggled in Philly, going just 2-17 in the last 19 meetings between these two teams in Philadelphia. The Flyers 19-9 in the last 28 meetings overall. The home team has won 31 of the last 41 meetings. I'm going to go with the Philadelphia Flyers on the money line in this one. Now we head to the matchup between the Montreal Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins from the Bell Center. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, just when I'm ready to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, if you guys can win this one, you'll earn your way off the do not bet list, they just go ahead and crap the bed. Now, yes, they've won 5 matches head-to-head with the Montreal Canadiens over the last couple seasons, but this is still a team that has just been inconsistent left and right. Now, Montreal, they're inconsistent in their own right, but they're a 500 team at home, which is a lot better than I thought they'd be for a team that's 11-14-3 this season. They're 8-6-2 at home. They've won 3 of their last 4 games at home. They did beat the Islanders, and they beat a couple of relatively dead bodies in the Predators and the Ducks. But still, Montreal finding a way to win, and with this line being as tight as it is, I think it's just telling you that we got to take a shot here on Montreal at home. So give me Montreal at plus 105 in this one. Now we head to this matchup from the Nationwide Arena between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Washington Capitals. And I've gone on record saying that, I think I was just waiting for the Columbus Blue Jackets to get back home because that's where I feel this team will provide the most value for us as bettors this season when you want to look at an underdog more often than not. Because Columbus has been playing their best hockey at home. However, the Washington Capitals have been lights out on the road, and I'll tell you, this team just keeps on finding ways to win despite there being no Alex Ovechkin in the lineup. And that's what's impressive to me as well. Washington 11-2 on the road this season. They've also won the last 4 head-to-head meetings with Columbus, including each of the last 5 meetings in Columbus. And, Washington wins in 6 of their last 7 games. They've been winning road games left and right. So until the Washington Capitals give me a reason not to, as much as I like the Columbus Blue Jackets, they've still taken one on the chin last time out at home against Philadelphia. They've lost 4 of 5. I got to roll with the Capitals at the reasonable price at minus 160. Now we had the Scotiabank Arena for a match between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Anaheim Ducks. And Toronto, a heavy favorite here, but I think it's for good reason. Don't get me wrong, I like backing big underdogs as much as the next person because I've found that in the NHL, these heavy underdogs tend to come in more often than not because these heavily priced teams can just fall flat. It just takes one bounce of the puck to really turn the game on its head. But Anaheim coming off a back-to-back, they just got their teeth kicked in by the Ottawa Senators. They've scored a combined 5 goals during this 4-game losing streak. They've been outscored, if I do some quick math here, 17-5 in those 4 losses. Toronto playing their best hockey by far at home, sitting at 12-4 on home ice this season, a 75% win percentage. It's just hard for me to go against here, especially when Toronto has won 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams, and a few of them have been by multi-goal margins. So I'm going to take Toronto on the puck line in this one, but not really a game I'm rushing to bet. Now we head to the UBS Arena where the New York Islanders play host to the Chicago Blackhawks. And for me, this is a fairly tough matchup in just terms of trying to find a side to be on or finding a place to be because neither of these teams are all that consistent offensively. Chicago has been struggling on the road, 5-9-2. The Islanders have struggled at home, 5-7-2. The Islanders are just inconsistent offensively. Chicago struggling to score 3 goals more often than not. They've scored 2 goals or less in 5 of their last 6 games. So for me in this one, and then what I feel sets up to be a first to 3 wins kind of game, I'm just taking the under. If you feel the need to bet this game, the under is the way I would go here because, like I said, I don't trust the Islanders to lay this kind of price with them, but I also don't trust the Chicago Blackhawks enough on the road to even be able to take a shot on some plus money. So I'm going to lean towards the under 5.5 in this one. Now we head to the Enterprise Center for this matchup between the St. Louis Blues and the San Jose Sharks. And, this is a game that I kind of went back and forth on, but I'm still going to lean towards what's been lately our old faithful, taking the San Jose Sharks plus the 1.5. Maybe sprinkle a little bit on the money line here. I know San Jose is still just 4-10-4, 4-14 on the road this season. But the St. Louis Blues, for me, are not a team that I envision laying minus 210 with or chasing a puck line with. Even, they have had some recent success against San Jose. But the thing is, the 2 wins that St. Louis has had this season against the Sharks have both needed more than 60 minutes to get there. Prior to that, the Sharks had won 3 straight against the Blues. They had swept a season series of 3 games between the 2 last season. So what that tells me is that San Jose 5-0 on the puck line in the last season and a half between these 2 teams, and the last 3 meetings have all needed overtime. And St. Louis, 3 of their last 5 games have needed more than 60 minutes as well. So I'm going to go with a little bit more of an exotic look on this game. I'm going to go with the Sharks plus the 1.5 as well as on the money line at plus 180. I'm also going to take the 60-minute tie for this game to go to overtime at plus 330. You can maybe even find the same game parlay to get a much nicer payout on this. Now we head to this matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Nashville Predators. And, I think that the Stars are rightfully favored here, even though they are a bit of a heavier favorite than I probably would have thought. I think it's still, the right side because, the Dallas Stars are playing their best hockey at home. They're 11-2 at home this season. But the Nashville Predators continue to be one of the most disappointing teams in the NHL. Earlier this season, I thought that, maybe Nashville would kind of get off the schneid. Maybe they just got off to a rough start to the year because of all the moves they made in the offseason. There was no way that the Predators could be this disappointing. Well, they have had a 3 or more game losing streak 4 separate times. They're only 29 games into the season. They're on an 8-game losing streak right now. And Nashville, this team is just struggling offensively. In all their losses, I'm trying to figure out how to say this properly. In all of their losses, they have scored 3 goals or less this season. Last time out, they lost 4-3 to the Calgary Flames. That was the first loss they've taken where they've scored 3 goals since October 15th. All their other losses have been scoring 2 goals or less. A lack of offense is a serious problem for the Nashville Predators right now, and against a balanced team like the Dallas Stars, who've had success in this matchup, winning 7 of the last 9 meetings, I don't see it getting any better, especially if Jake Ottinger is in net. The Predators, I know that, some people are going to say, well, they're desperate. They need to turn it around at some point. Until they do, they're not seeing any of my money. They are number 1 on the do not bet list for a reason. Give me the Dallas Stars to win this one in regulation at minus 125. Now we head to this match between the Winnipeg Jets and the Vegas Golden Knights from the Canada Life Arena. And you got the Winnipeg Jets coming in, who's trying to, sort of figure out what's been going on, because this is a team that got off to a strong start to the year, but have started to cool off a little bit. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They're coming off an 8-1 blowout win over the Boston Bruins, but I don't know if they're going to be able to string back-to-back wins here, because the Vegas Golden Knights are a team that you could not back on the road earlier this season, but all of a sudden, don't look now. The Vegas Golden Knights have been able to win road games left and right. They've won 4 of their last 6 on the road. Did lose in Toronto 3-0 and lost in a shootout to Colorado. But that loss to Colorado is the only thing standing between the Vegas Golden Knights and 5 straight road wins coming into this matchup. They've started to figure it out, and head-to-head, the Vegas Golden Knights have owned Winnipeg. Sometimes a team just has your number, regardless of the situation. And Vegas has won 11 of the last 12 meetings between these two teams, including each of the last 5 meetings in Winnipeg. I got to go with the Vegas Golden Knights here at some plus money. Now we head to this matchup between the Minnesota Wild and the Edmonton Oilers from the XL Energy Center. And I kind of understand why the Edmonton Oilers would be favored against a lot of teams on the road, because right now Edmonton is playing some decent hockey. The problem for me, though, is that Minnesota is not one of the teams that I think that Edmonton should be favored against, especially if the line is now starting to creep in their direction. Minnesota has won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams, and if you zoom out on that sample size even further, Minnesota has won 38 of the last 52 meetings between these two teams, including 29 of the last 36 meetings in Minnesota. Heading to Minnesota just has not worked for the Edmonton Oilers in the past. Yeah, I know Minnesota plays their best hockey on the road. They're 12-2-3 on the road and just 7-3-1 at home. The Oilers 8-4-1 away from Edmonton this season, but I still think that this is a decent amount of value to be getting with a Minnesota Wild team that continues to be one of the best teams in hockey. And if it's a sucker bet, then it's a sucker bet. It is what it is. But I'm not going to pass up on this price with a Minnesota Wild team that's quietly been one of the most consistent teams in the NHL against an Oilers team that we have seen put up clunkers in easier spots to win than this. So give me the Minnesota Wild here at plus money. Now we head to the Scotiabank Saddledome, where the Calgary Flames take on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is a matchup where I get why the Tampa Bay Lightning would be favored, because the Calgary Flames haven't necessarily been playing their best hockey. The Calgary Flames come into this one losers of 6 of their last 8. However, the majority of those games have been on the road, where they really have not been at their best. With 4-7-4 on the road this season, Calgary has been a completely different team at home this year. 10-3-1 at home. They're playing their best hockey at the Saddledome. And while Tampa Bay is a solid team in their own right, they've been playing some solid hockey as of late. They're still 8-4-1 at home, but just below 500, 6-6-1 on the road this season. I think there's value to be had here with the Calgary Flames, who have won the last 3 head-to-head meetings with the Tampa Bay Lightning, for the last 5 as well. They swept both meetings last year, have won 3 straight at home against the Lightning. So give me the Calgary Flames here at some plus money, plus 126. Now we head to the Ball Arena, where the Colorado Avalanche take on the Utah Hockey Club. Not one of my favorite games on the board. I don't love this price with the Colorado Avalanche, but I could also see Colorado coming in and winning this game comfortably. But that being said, I'm taking a shot on Utah here, mainly because Utah has been really competitive on the road. I mean, you look at their last 4 games, they're 4-0 in those 4 road games. They beat Vegas, they beat Philly and Buffalo and Montreal, so maybe not the toughest of opposition, but they also hung around with Toronto. They beat Pittsburgh 6-1. They beat them like a drum. They only lost 1-0 at Boston. This team has been really competitive on the puck line on the road, so I would take the plus 1.5. You could also sprinkle a little bit on the money line, because, like I said, Colorado, despite their strong run of form, they're still just a 500 team at home at 7-7. So I'm going to take a shot here with Utah plus the 1.5. I'll sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well, plus 160. Now we head to Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken take on the Boston Bruins. And the Boston Bruins, another team where I'm sort of just ready to give them the benefit of the doubt, like I did against the Winnipeg Jets. And they got blown out 8-1, and now they continue out on the road, where they have been a sub-500 team this season, and they haven't necessarily played the toughest of teams over that stretch. I mean, they've only played now 4 road games in their last 10, and they beat the Blackhawks, the Islanders, and the Red Wings, and haven't necessarily impressed all that much. Seattle, they struggled against Florida, but they were competitive in that game against Florida, and they have been doing really good against a solid run of teams as of late. Florida, the Rangers, the Devils, the Islanders, and the Hurricanes, picking up some road wins along the way. And this is a Seattle team that historically has played their better hockey at home. The home team won both meetings. Both the last two meetings between these two teams. I don't love this game either because it's not. They're just much better opportunities to have your money elsewhere on the board and try to make it that way. But if I had to lean anywhere, I'd lean towards the Kraken here just because of home ice. Our final matchup on Thursday's card takes us to the Rogers Arena, where the Vancouver Canucks host the Florida Panthers. And anytime I see the Vancouver Canucks at home, I'll check who's on the other side. But if it makes sense, I'm going to keep going the other way because the Florida Panthers are your defending Stanley Cup champions. And even though Vancouver's won 3 straight meetings, including the first meeting this season in Florida, Vancouver's also struggled on home ice. They've been much better on the road this season. They're 10-2-1 at home, but have also won just 4 of 14 games at home. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that Vancouver giving up 3.85 goals per game at home this season. Florida scoring 3.66 goals per game on the road. 3.79 goals per game on the road. And I think that Florida can take it to Vancouver here and do so at a decent price. The price has started to swell a little bit since this video was recorded. I believe it started around minus 135. It's now to around minus 160. I would still go with the Panthers, and if you have to, take the Panthers in regulation or even take the Panthers on the puck line. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Again, if you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $15 best bet, head to pickdawgz.com and click the premium picks tab at the top of the page. Today I'm going to have just NHL on the board. For those of you who are clamoring for my NHL premiums, well, they're here today. I got my $15 power play, my favorite game on the board. Also got that as part of my Zamboni NHL 5-pack. It's a great time to hop on long term, though, because we are going to have loaded cards all weekend long, whether it's college hoops. We got college football bowl season starting. We've got NFL Sunday. NBA and NHL are going to be in the mix as well. So definitely hop on long term, get maximum value. But remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon.